Hey, it's Colleen.
Hi, it's Kate.
And it's Megan.
And we're the
Three Scheme Queens.
Join us as we discuss popular hoaxes and give you our comedic take on what is fact and what is fiction. If you have a sense of humor and an open mind, come take this journey with us.
We'll tell you what we think, and we'll try to prove it to you.
Is this thing on? The season of love.
Welcome to the season.
The season.
The second annual.
This was it only took two times for me to understand the pun of their own name. Last season, I didn't understand the season.
Yep.
Took me a minute.
Here we are. It's summer. It's hot.
Yep.
And we're talking,
Oceanic creatures.
Yeah, summer conspiracies.
Oceanic conspiracies.
Mm-hmm. But before we get into it, again, just a reminder that this is Kate's last week out.
Her last week battling Big Pharma.
Yes, but she will be back, for the next 5 episodes.
She's ready.
Before we conclude our season.
And then take her summer break.
Yes. As far as our
drink check.
This drink check's yummy.
Yeah. This is viral, but you hadn't seen it, you said, right?
No, I had no idea what you were making. It's viral?
It's viral.
On the reels?
Well, on Instagram, which you tell me is several weeks. Yes.
Yeah, I never even TikTok. Saw it.
So we're having a water hazard. It felt very summery,
It's delicious.
Yes. It's just vodka with some blue Gatorade, a little splash of lemonade, a little splash. I had to do a splash of 7-Up because there was no Sprite at the CVS.
It kind of tastes like what we would drink in high school.
In high school, I was thinking a little bit of like something we would have consumed out of a large cooler. Oh, I was thinking like
a water bottle that we all spent $30 on. You never bought your alcohol on water bottles?
Not like they're doing these days?
That's what I would do.
Yeah, but you didn't do that. You weren't that hip.
No, not Borgs. Not Borgs.
Oh.
Like we would get Poland Spring water bottles.
Okay.
With like vodka in it. And that's what we would buy off somebody.
Oh, okay. Yep. So this is. I was thinking this. I was thinking this tasted like something that might have been mass produced.
Yeah.
At a party in college.
With like Fetty Wap playing in the background.
What?
Like Fetty Wap playing in the background.
I don't know what Fetty Wap is.
Isn't it Fetty Wap? 1738. Hey, what's up? Hello. You don't know that guy?
I don't know what no.
He only has one eye. He's in jail right now.
Okay.
You don't know Fetty Wap? Oh my God.
All right. But you like this one, yeah?
Yeah, I do like this one.
It feels dangerous.
It doesn't taste like there's alcohol in it. It also tastes hydrating.
It feels like we're hydrating.
Yeah.
We're drinking the Gatorade. And then actually I left the lemonade on my kitchen counter.
So this is like an IV hydration.
Lemonade flavored IV hydration. So we're like doubly hydrating.
Yeah, exactly. We got our electrolytes on the max.
So we talked a lot last season about, the undiscovered ocean and the mysteries of the ocean. Our belief that that's where the aliens are right now.
Yeah, 100%.
And so we're going to have a couple more fun, interesting summer topics.
Yeah.
Colleen's back with us next week.
I got Megalodon coming up.
But we're going to start the first one with kind of a strange ghost ship story.
Like SpongeBob.
So we're talking about the SS Ourang Medan.
Ourang Medan. This was Megan before recording. Ourang Medan.
Yeah, well, I was trying. I Googled the pronunciation. So this was a ghost ship. It was reportedly discovered adrift in the Strait of Malacca in the late 1940s.
Where's Malacca? Like what continent are we on?
We're in Indonesia.
Indonesia, okay.
Kind of
okay, that makes
near
sense.
Malaysia, near where our MH370
Okay.
story took
I'm
place.
with you.
And so according to the story, various ships received a chilling distress message from the Ourang Medan stating that the entire crew was dead, followed by a final cryptic transmission, "I die."
I died.
Yeah, so this guy's like calling for help. He's like, everyone's dead. He's calling for help. And then finally he goes, "I die."
Okay.
And that was the last radio message from the ship.
Okay.
When rescuers eventually located the vessel, they found the crew's corpses scattered across the deck, their faces frozen in expressions of terror with no visible signs of injury. Efforts to tow the ship back to port reportedly failed. Before the vessel could be salvaged or investigated further, it exploded and sank without a trace. The cause of the crew's deaths and the subsequent destruction of the ship remain unexplained, fueling speculation. Theories have ranged from carbon monoxide poisoning and chemical weapons to paranormal phenomena or alien encounters.
Oh my gosh.
Today, we take a deep dive into the legend of the SS Ourang Medan, one of the most eerie and enigmatic maritime mysteries ever told.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have thoughts on ghost ships?
Like, do I believe they're all haunted?
Yeah. What do you, just in general? I feel like we talked last season about ghost ships. I think when we talked about like the Bermuda Triangle and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I have like too much knowledge to have an opinion. I do feel like ghosts are real, so I feel like I would believe in a haunted ship.
When we talked about the Bermuda Triangle
Right.
last year, we talked about, I gave a statistics. It was kind of like
There's a lot of ghost ships.
a lot of ghost ships.
A lot more than I realized.
Yeah, but then I think we decided that most of those ghost ships were like people who just like couldn't pay the taxes or something.
They just let it out to sea.
And then claimed the insurance.
Yeah.
But again, this is supposed to be one of the most famous ghost ship stories.
Now, what's like? Did you just say this? Was it an Indonesian military ship? Like, what was the?
I'm going to tell you about that.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna-
What's the details of the
I'm going
ship?
to tell you. I'm having to record indoors in my prescription sunnies
Oh, funny.
because I did not put contacts in this morning
I keep thinking you're like locked in.
and I left my regular glasses in the car, which
She's been watching TV with her sunglasses on this whole time.
I also could just gone back to my car and got them.
It's funny.
Anyway. Okay. So let's go back nearly 80 years to 1947.
Okay.
Southeast Asia has been recently liberated from the Japanese, but a Cold War is on the horizon. There's a multinational naval presence in the area, and Dutch merchant ships are the most common. The Silver Star, an American vessel, intercepted a distress call from a Dutch steamship, the SS Ourang Medan. An officer recalled, "We were about 200 miles southwest of the Solomon Islands when we intercepted the following signal. SOS from the steamship Ourang Medan. Beg ships with shortwave wireless get touch doctor. Urgent."
What?
With our shortwave set, we relayed the call for help. Medical stations in Germany, Rome, and France replied. We informed the Ourang Medan and asked her to transmit her request. The Ourang Medan replied with its auxiliary transmitter, "Probable second officer dead. Other members crew also killed. Disregard medical consultation. SOS urgent assistance warship." I have a side note here. What I learned in investigation of this story. Do you know what SOS stands for?
Oh, at one point I did, but I don't know now.
Okay, it stands for Save Our Ship.
Isn't it Save Our
Yes.
Soul? Maybe you're right. You're probably right.
Many people, now Google's telling me many people believe SOS stands for Save Our Ship or Save Our Souls,
There we go.
but in reality, they do not stand for any specific words.
So it doesn't have any meaning?
Oh my gosh. Well, that was my fun fact is just
Such a mediocre fun fact now.
debunked. Okay.
I just fact checked you.
Fact
in
check
real
me.
time.
SOS stands for nothing, guys.
Okay, whatever.
So anyway, back to this quote. I'm sorry, from this
From this guy.
American vessel. Okay. At the end of the 16 hours, we sighted a big ship on the horizon. It flew no flag, was listing slightly to the starboard, and propeller motionless. From our bridge, we could see it was the Ourang Medan. We launched 2 lifeboats with 8 men in each and rowed across the Ourang Medan and boarded her. Bodies of sailors were lying about on the deck. We could find no sign of a wound on any of them. Death seemed to have taken them by surprise at their posts. On the captain's bridge, we found the body of a second officer. We counted 12 bodies, 3 of them deck officers, but we reckon the Ourang Medan should have had a crew of about 40. The boarding party allegedly felt a cold, eerie drop in temperature as they ventured into the cabin, where they found the radio operator dead in what appeared to be mid-transmission. The captain ordered his crew to tow the boat back to port, but as the sailors secured it, a fire broke out on the Ourang Medan. They literally cut ties to save themselves, and the ship exploded and sank.
Oh my gosh.
Then, 10 days later, a lifeboat washed up on the Marshall Islands. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
We talked about the Marshall Islands when you talked about what really happened to Amelia Earhart.
Right.
That was your episode.
Yeah, I remember that.
What did you decide? The crabs ate her?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about the huge crabs.
Okay, so again, this lifeboat washed up on the Marshall Islands 10 days later with 1 survivor and 6 corpses. The survivor, Jerry Rabbit, was discovered by a missionary. Rabbit claimed he was recruited in Shanghai to work on a former Chinese steamer. He claims that after leaving Shanghai, the vessel took on 15,000 crates of unknown cargo at various Chinese ports and was bound for Costa Rica. He said that crew members began complaining of stomach aches and fatigue. After one crew member died of a reported heart attack, Rabbit looked in the ship's logbook and found that they were transporting sulfuric acid, cyanide, and nitroglycerin. I wrote, why did the guy have an MI with so much nitroglycerin access?
Yeah, wait. Sublingual, buddy. Why were you popping that?
Anyway, he said he stole the logbook and escaped in a lifeboat with the 6 other men. He died several days after telling his tale to the missionary.
Oh my God.
So that is, again, the extensive backstory.
Wait, he was on the ship?
Yes, Jerry Rabbit
Was on that ship.
was on that ship.
Okay.
But he and a small cohort had fled when people were dropping dead.
Okay.
He grabbed the logbook and he washed ashore, and then this missionary found him and he told him the story, and then he died.
Okay. I'm with you now.
Okay. What do you think about that official recount of what happened?
So they were all just dropping dead,
Yeah.
and so he ran away. I feel like they probably had something like the plague or something.
What killed this whole boat full of people? The plague?
Yeah. I don't know,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
I mean, arguably norovirus could have done it, you know?
That's a pretty ugly norovirus to take out that whole ship of potentially 40 people.
I don't know.
Okay.
My initial thought is some type of bacteria. Viral disease.
Okay. So you're not even thinking really of anything conspiracy.
No, not initially. I'd be like, okay, why would people be dropping dead on an isolated ship?
Well, what would kill a guy who's literally transmitting the radio and then he just says, I die,
Well,
and then he dies
is he
mid-transmission?
speaking another language?
No, they're...
Oh, it's Morse code, and that's so Morse code is the same no matter where you are. Is Morse code only translated to English? I've never thought about it.
Yeah, no, Morse code is not. Morse code is just the letters. So I guess you would have. I guess it would be a different, like French Morse code in French is not going to be the same as
in English.
Yeah.
Like, are we having just a translation issue?
Oh, but I just feel like something.
I'm thinking very literal.
I'm just thinking a guy is operating the radio and like
I
dies at the.
I died.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe he meant I'm dying.
Mm-hmm. Well, initially he said send help, and then he said cancel the help. Everyone's dead, and then he said I'm dying.
Oh my God. And what was the time between each thing?
I mean, it sounds like him asking help, and then they reached out to other people. They looped in. It sounds like probably not very much time.
Okay. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, let me tell you about some of the conspiracy theories.
Okay, yeah, let me hear the theories, because I don't know if I could think of one besides being literal.
Okay, so I told you that that Jerry Rabbit looked in the ship's logbook and found that they were transporting sulfuric acid, cyanide, and nitroglycerin.
Oh, were they getting cyanide poisoning?
So was the ship...
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Was the ship transporting agents or other toxic substances left over from World War II? Did seawater enter the ship's hold due to the poor weather conditions or lack of maintenance, reacting with the cargo to release toxic gases? And that could potentially be why, when they were towing the boat in, there was an explosion.
Oh.
Okay. So what are these substances? Right?
Cyanide.
Well,
I know that.
Let's start with nitroglycerin.
Okay.
It's highly explosive. It's used in dynamite.
Oh, I didn't know.
It is very sensitive to heat, shock, and friction, and has very strict transportation protocols.
No sunlight.
Sulfuric acid is extremely corrosive, and so adding water would cause it to boil due to intense heat released. The vapors can damage your respiratory tract, can release a flammable hydrogen gas when it comes into contact with metal, and hydrogen can asphyxiate a person in an enclosed space. It is extremely flammable and explosive as well. And then we have cyanide, which we know inhaling cyanide can lead to death within minutes. It starts with a headache, confusion, nausea, vomiting, seizures, loss of consciousness, cardiac arrest. So I guess we don't know, though, when they found these people, were they covered in a rash? Was there vomit?
Were there any
Were they
other
covered in
findings?
vomit?
Yeah.
I don't know. So World War II had recently ended. Unit 731 was a unit of Japanese scientists which conducted dangerous experiments on American, British, and Australian POWs. This included making dangerous biological and chemical weapons to help Japan eliminate its enemies. So this theory is that the experiments and biological weapons from Unit 731 were secretly sent from country to country. And so was that what these people were moving? Because again, Jerry Rabbit said he was just like picked up and offered this job with no background check or anything. They were in Japan, Shanghai, and they were just like, you want a job? Hop on this boat.
Yeah.
And then another theory is that the boilers had maybe malfunctioned, or they just had like improper ventilation systems, which commonly happens in poorly maintained ships. So that could have led to maybe carbon monoxide poisoning. Did you say carbon monoxide poisoning?
It's cyanide poisoning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you were kind of all over carbon monoxide on our hikers.
Oh, I forgot about that.
In the tent, which is what I think Carrie
was
also
there
said.
No ventilation.
Yeah.
Oh.
If there was a fire, I don't know. So that's kind of what they're saying here is maybe it was carbon monoxide poisoning again, which again, carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas, would have killed the crew quickly without any visible signs of trauma, which kind of aligns with the condition in which the bodies were reportedly found.
Right.
But again, this is like famously a peaceful way to go. Like you just fall asleep sort of, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, peaceful way to go.
You just fall asleep.
And so these people who were found like in screaming positions or suffering positions.
That might not be accurate.
That's weird.
But for cyanide poisoning though, because that's when you're in pain and you feel like you're suffocating, right? Too. I think I'm leaning towards some type of poisoning theory.
Okay. It could also be piracy. Could pirates have kind of come on board and done this? But again, no evidence of trauma.
No.
So.
And like, I feel like the guy doing the code would have been like pirates, Mayday, pirates.
Or SOS, because they're not an airplane. But yeah.
Right. And they're not like.
You're right. Not like what's going on? Why are people dropping dead?
Yeah.
Would have been like, yeah, we're under attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. That is very valid.
Thought, yeah.
Okay, so we can take pirates off the list.
Yeah, get that out of here.
Then we have something paranormal.
Oh, hold on. I'm listening.
Was this supernatural or extraterrestrial? This comes from the fact that of the kind of those weird messages, the weird mysterious messages, and the kind of unnatural postures of the bodies that were found. And again, where did we decide all the aliens are? Underwater. Yep. Particularly too, we're talking
where the trenches are.
Yeah.
And isn't there a trench over there?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Was it aliens?
I don't know.
Can't close that door.
Was it octopi who could be aliens? You know, we'll talk about that later in the season, not in this episode.
I was like, wait a second.
No, we're doing. Isn't Kate doing octopi?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Kate will tell us all about the octopi who may be aliens. I'm about to provide another option.
Okay, here we go.
That's going to be anticlimactic.
Oh no.
This famous story the Redditors have been looking into, the TikTokers and Instagrammers have been researching
the ship story.
These rabbit holes people have been going down. Is this all just a maritime myth?
It's made up.
I'm going to throw this back to our most popular episode, Gabriela Rico Jimenez.
Right.
The model murdered in Mexico by the Illuminati
is made up.
If you haven't listened to that episode, it's an earlier episode, so we can't.
For some reason, it's our most popular.
We can't
episode.
Vouch on the sound quality, but
we might have gone viral in another country or something.
We did do a deep dive on that one and debunked a lot of it. So kind of in a similar way,
this whole myth, this whole ghost ship is a
ghost ship that is the most famous ghost ship of all time
is made up.
Might just be an elaborate myth.
Well, how do we have proof of that?
Well, let me tell you. So the first newspaper account of this story reportedly appeared in 1940 in Britain.
1940. Okay.
Did not make its way to the U.S. until 1948, when the story of the Ourang Medan was printed in reputable publications like the San Francisco Examiner.
Okay.
So we have like legitimate newspapers on different continents telling the same story of the Ourang Medan 8 years apart.
Oh my God.
Why did the stories emerge, 8
Yeah.
years apart? And what caused many of the details in them to differ so drastically? There was another record of the story that came out in the 1952 edition of the U.S. Journal Proceedings of the Merchant Marine Council. And in this story, it said, quote, "Perhaps one of the most perturbing sea dramas occurred in February 1948. Radio silence was broken with urgent SOS from the SS Ourang Medan, a Dutch vessel, then proceeding through the Straits of Malacca. The strange distress call, transmitted in Morse code, eerily read, SOS from Ourang Medan. We float. All officers, including the captain, dead in chart room and on the bridge. Probably whole of crew dead. A few confused dots and dashes later, 2 words came through clearly. They were, I die. Then nothing more.
Oh my God.
Later, the Ourang Medan was found adrift approximately 50 miles from her indicated position. When the vessel, which had stumbled across her, sent a boat over to investigate, the sailors swarming aboard the Ourang Medan found a sight seldom seen. There wasn't a living person or creature on board. There were dead men everywhere. Bodies were strewn from the decks, in the passageways, in the chart house, and on the bridge. Sprawled on their backs, the frozen faces upturned to the sun with mouths gaping open and eyes staring. The dead bodies resembled horrible characters. Even the ship's dog was found dead.
Oh my God.
Yet the bodies seemed to bear no sign of injury or wounds. This is again just saying that we have like a 1940 story, a 1948 story, a 1952 story.
So it's like a repeating social story.
We have before social media. Right? So we have 1940 reports in the November 21st edition of the Yorkshire Evening Post and the November 22nd edition of the Daily Mirror, which both cite AP as their source. And then there's a French publication that ran a story in September of 1941. We have reports from 1947, the February 1948 reports in this Dutch-Indonesian trade magazine. So, the year doesn't line up. That makes it kind of suspicious.
I don't know about this.
According to Lloyd's Register of Ships, which has kept a record of every merchant ship since 1764, no ship by the name of the SS Ourang Medan was ever documented, and there are no official incident reports about the ship sinking. No shipyard claimed to have built her, and there's no log of her being harbored in any port. Okay, so that makes it sound like the ship never existed, right?
Right.
We have no official record, although you know what? We also know that you didn't watch the submersible documentary.
No.
The submersible, the Titanic submersibles also never were registered. Anyway. But I guess also you could argue if this ship was really transporting chemical warfare for the Japanese, why would it be? It wouldn't, there wouldn't be evidence all over the place. This would be a secret mission.
Yeah, they'd be swiping this.
Yes.
But also, if this was all a myth, why would they make this story up?
And so they're saying, again, is that why the ship had to disappear? Because when they found it and they were towing it in,
they realized
like,
it was...
yeah, I mean, someone's trying to cover something up, right? So is that why she disappeared? It was just up to no good. They also talk about how a lot of these sources talk about how you could change your ship name mid trip also.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. It's bad luck to change the name though.
Is it?
Yeah, it leads to shipwrecks. It's like a thing. You don't change the name.
Oh, because then you're cursed?
Yeah.
Well, you know which other ship never existed?
What?
The Silver Star. The alleged United States ship
that found it?
Which got this distress call and sent them help and found the ship. The Silver Star, I guess to clarify, the Silver Star was a United States ship.
Okay.
But
was not there?
It did not exist. Or it was not named the Silver Star during this period when this allegedly happened. So it just doesn't line up that this American ship, the Silver Star, was out in in Indonesia.
I'm with you.
And coming to the rescue of this ship. Also, we have no one who has ever come forward from the Silver Star
talking about it.
To say what I was talking about. I was there. I was on this rescue mission.
It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. The wreckage of the ship has never been found. Although, you know what? That alone is not proof to me, because we talk about
Absolutely, yeah.
the absurd depths
the
of this
ocean
ocean that
just-
is unexplored.
Because like the ocean just eats stuff.
It took
like, we'll never find anything.
Took how long for them to find the Titanic?
We're still searching for MH370.
370. We still haven't found what happened to Amelia Earhart in this area,
It's
you know?
just, we'll never know. Or the aliens are cleaning it up too fast.
Yeah, maybe that. So I think the wreckage has never been found, but that alone is not enough to disprove this to me.
Yeah.
I told you that Jerry Rabbit, stole the logbook when he fled. Was the only person who made it to shore. Everyone else on his little lifeboat was dead, and that he found a a person who's like a religious person who's trying to recruit you.
Jehovah's Witness?
Not
Mormon.
A missionary. He found a missionary. So I told you that this missionary found him on the beach, and he told his story, and he had this logbook, but then he also suddenly died. But even if he was dead, we would have this logbook.
Yeah.
And where is this logbook?
Where
no one has
is
seen
the
it.
proof? This is all fake.
Yeah. That we have the locations listed of these various stories. In some of the versions of the story, the location was listed in Solomon Islands, and some it was in the Marshall Islands, some it was the Strait of Malacca. And so these are actually relatively far apart, thousands of miles apart. Also, Morse code. Apparently, if he'd really coded out everything that he allegedly said,
okay,
it would have been like very tedious and time consuming, especially for such like urgency, right?
Okay.
So people are like, you probably would have said like SOS, Captain Dead.
You keep it small.
Yeah. SOS, Captain Dead, help. Like something, yeah. He probably would have said all officers, including the captain, dead in chart room and on the bridge, probably whole of crew dead.
Too wordy.
Like this, exactly, too wordy. So people are like, that's probably not, But anyone who has experience with Morse code, you let us know.
Do we know anybody with experience with Morse code? What an odd talent to have.
I don't know.
I'm with you.
Pretty much what this comes down to is we have this one man, Silvio Shirley. And he
sounds fake.
Yeah, well, I think he's real, but is his story real? When we go back to try to figure out who started this story, right?
Okay.
We have this author, Silvio Shirley. He's the writer of the very first version of the story in the 1940s.
Okay.
And if we go back to all these other versions of the story that came out after, all of those articles cite Silvio Shirley as like a source. So pretty much what we're thinking is this, he told this one story in the 1940s, and everyone has just been kind of like
copy pasting.
Exactly.
Interesting.
He gave all of these initial details about what happened in the story, but no one has ever like verified his version of events. Obviously, when you like go back to these earlier articles, almost 100 years ago,
nobody's fact checked.
No one really fact checked it. I think it just kept getting kind of republished. So, but why someone would 8 years later republish the same story? That's kind of
and claiming it's a new event.
Bizarre. I mean, what was going on
8 years later?
World War II years. World
War II is like 1939
to 1945. Yeah, I mean 1940. That's like 1940. His original story is kind of prime
time,
wartime, and so maybe is part of this just like instilling fear in people? Is part of this just like the panic? But why was the story getting retold in 1948? I mean,
wasn't the war over by then?
It was. I mean, I guess then you're going into the Cold War. Okay,
and then it's repeated again in the 50s. What did you say?
1952. So I'm on board with this guy just told a tall tale and
it just got out of hand.
And reporters just never fact checked him, and they just thought like, here's an interesting, the idea of people, it's like a nice paranormal ghost mystery, right? And the idea that people were just like frozen to death in screaming positions, that's very creepy, right?
Yeah.
And like these weird transmissions, and then the fact that the boat blew up so no one could ever investigate. I mean, it sounds like an interesting story, an interesting tale, right?
Right.
But I think probably not real. You agree?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, I mean, if it was real, I don't think it's anything mystical. I think they just poisoned themselves by accident. But it's sounding more like it's just a story that got out of hand, like fake news.
Yeah. So I guess we've debunked this conspiracy theory.
Fake news from the 1940s.
Yeah. Again, what I am learning also on this podcast is that nothing has changed. You know,
It's always
it's all the same.
don't trust the government.
Yeah, don't
It's
trust the
always
press.
follow the money.
Yeah,
It's like
kind of a letdown, I guess, that like all of this is likely not even real. But I do love debunking viral TikToks. You know,
that's a little bit more fun. But I'm more interested in this
this
man.
is viral TikTok.
This started as a viral TikTok, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it did.
I'm interested in Silvio, but I don't think we have enough on him.
Apparently also, like, every time he retold this story, like, it got a little bit more
Exaggerated.
dramatic.
Oh, he was lying through the skin of his teeth.
So, very first story of the season, debunked hoax.
Gone.
But I think there probably are other interesting ghost ship stories out there. But this one, the most famous one,
Not real.
not real.
It's gonna make me question all the ones that follow.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll be back next week with a more interesting
Yeah, Megalodon.
story. In the meantime, guys, just a reminder, don't forget to check out our Facebook and Instagram pages at 3 Scheme Queens. That's the number 3 Scheme Queens, all one word. We're also on Reddit, same username. If you want to check out our website, go to 3schemequeens.com and you can find links to our social media accounts, our Buzzsprout page, all of our episodes, additional content, our contact page, and our discussion board where you can engage with us and share any updates on the topics that we have discussed. Let us know how we're doing and what you want to hear next. There are also opportunities to financially support us. There are links to buy us a cup of coffee, links to our recently updated merch store, and affiliate links. And as always, if you choose not to financially support us, we appreciate the follows, the downloads, listens, the likes. Take over for Kate. What should the people do?
Pause right now. Send this video to at least 2 people that you know that like boats. Into boats, riding boats, looking at boats, drawing boats, anything to do with boats. And send this to them. And then when you're done with that, go ahead and scroll on down. Give us a 5-star review. Like, follow.
I thought you were going to say like fishing boats or pontoon boats.
Shrimping boats, lobster
canoe
boats,
or
tug a boat, pole boats,
ski boats.
skeetabug boats.
Yeah. All right. Share with a friend. Leave
Who
us
likes
a review. Keep listening.
Boats and
And otherwise, we'll see you next
See you next
Tuesday.